Elle a terminé première de qualification à cet engin. Pour la
Yogesh, and she can work beam. She's got a 15.266 in qualifying, so hold on to your hats.
And she certainly is not slow and cautious. But this is very difficult. Watch, backflip, full twisting Sami, and she just could not hold on to it. We have watched her over the years be absolutely fantastic on beam, and this is the second day in a row we've seen her fall. She's got another difficult skill here. Layout somersault. But if you see the speed of work, you'll understand just a bit. If she hits this sort of speed and confidence, she's missed a connection there as well. Sets her apart. Getting a little bit of a rhythm back now. Set up for the dismount. This is my favourite bit of this routine. Round off, backflip, triple twist, clean as you like, but when you've fallen off your very first skill, it counts for nothing.
After that entire choreographed routine, all we're left with as spectators is the word nothing coming out of the commentator's mouth. Not to mention the hard work that this girl's put in for the past years and the hard work that she's put in the past couple months just to maintain weight and be the perfect shape to compete at a high level. Now, after seeing that, times have changed, but once this game was a whole different battlefield, which is depicted in the 1995 novel written by Joanne Ryan. Pretty Girls in Little Boxes is a behind-the-curtains look at figure skating and gymnastics. The book is spent depicting the life of stories of girls and women and families who suffered through this horrific system. Now today, things have changed. They're a little different. But what Joanne depicts is sports that is a story about legal, even celebrated child abuse. Those are some pretty strong words. But at the end of the day, everything that was going on behind the scenes in gymnastics and skating was all about winning at all costs. Now as we jump into this scenario and start to learn more about the things that are going on, the biggest things that come to hand are anorexia, bulimia, psychological problems, cutting themselves, which also goes into psychological problems, and debilitating injuries. These are all things that are found within this book written by Joanne Ryan. Now I want to list off a couple of the injuries that happened just in gymnastics alone, and let me know if you think you can pick them out between gymnastics and football. First being upper body, labrum tears, elbow dislocation, wrist sprains. These are things that happen on a weekly basis on high school fields, college fields, and the NFL. Now lower leg issues that come with gymnastics and figure skating, the ACL, tears in those, tears in the Achilles, and lower back injuries. Once again, we could be either talking about football or gymnastics. These aren't things that are ever brought to mind when you think of little girls that are performing for Olympic gold and competing to be, the dazzling darling of America. Now, the biggest thing that we start out with in talking about Joanne Ryan's Pretty Girls in Little Boxes is the most horrifying thing is that the training and the development of the kids was instantly during their biggest development years. The years that the kids are growing and their bodies are changing, this is when the peak of their training is going on. And in both sports, the ideal situation for a body, for a girl, is to look like a young boy, which sounds terrible, but that's what it takes. Is keeping the maturity rate away as long as possible for all sorts of different reasons. Now that we have a little bit of background on this book, we can dive into how this book is actually set up. So what Joanne Ryan does is she goes back and forth between each chapter, and what she does is she discusses one of two things. It's either the coaches or the injuries. And now our main villain and protagonist in this novel is going to be a guy named Bela Karolyi, and he's a Romanian who was a tyrant of a human being an emotional disaster when it came to emotionally abusing constantly the children, young girls that are growing up that need, you know, love and care and take care of the kids, and he's just not there for them. And he's basically win at all costs is not only his motto, it might as well be tattooed on his back. And so he is known for forcing competition with things like broken limbs, strains, any type of ache and pain is not good. You know? Abuse of pain pills, giving out laxatives to the kids to maintain weight, just all basically a parent's worst nightmare as a mentor. This guy turned out to be. So, according to StopSportsInjuries.org, there's actually 86,000 plus injuries per year that the doctors see just from gymnastics alone. That's current time. That's not dealing with a guy like Bella. So that kind of puts into aspect and mindset of where we're actually at when it comes to how hard these girls are training and how injury prone this sport actually is. Now, one of the stories that comes out and jumps out of the screen and is completely just devastating is a girl named Elisa Gomez who ended up being quadriplegic after she took one final vault at the request of her coaches just to potentially boost her point total. Didn't even know it, didn't even have it. These are just the type of things that we're getting into. All these stories, all these horrific things have paved the way for things to get better for these gymnasts. But I think the one thing that we need to keep in mind is when you hear a story about a 13-year-old girl training for 8 hours a day on a diet of little more than laxatives and painkillers, I mean, it just goes to show what people will do to other people to get what they think they want. And winning at all costs is not only a problem in all sports, it's a problem in basically life. And I think that this book did a great job exposing the fact and helping change reform. I think there's a lot of good things going on in gymnastics and figure skating. And I think that it's a great lesson learned that if you have nothing to do with either of these sports, you might as well read it because there's plenty to do with winning at all costs in every single sport across the board because people ultimately want to be champions. Thank you for your time.